What's up, Mr. Sue? Unit 11.
Unit 11.
Unit 11 video coming up. Unit 11 video.
What's up, bro? What are you doing? Alright, so 37 girls just followed me on Instagram. I'm trying to rate each one of them on a scale from 1 to 10. So me and you are going to do that.
Girls. And we put all the numbers in order. So now that we did that, we're going to find the outlier, mean, median, mode, range, spread, standard deviation, 5-number summary, and interquartile range of all these girls. Okay.
Okay, so first to find the outlier, basically it's just the number that there's the least of, and that's obviously 1, because there's only one out of all these numbers. So outlier is 1. To find the mean, you gotta add all these numbers up and divide them by how many numbers there are. So we add them up, we got 252 and divide by 37. So the mean came out to 6.8. And the median is the number in the middle. So since there's 37, basically count 18, then the number after that is just gonna be 7. That's gonna be the number in the middle. And the mode is which number there's the most, which is 7. And then to find the range, you just take the highest number, subtract by the lowest. So 10 minus 1, that equals 9. Then the spread is just what the numbers range from or go from, so they're 1 to 10. Then standard deviation is next, and I'll explain that.
Okay, so this is the formula for standard deviation. So basically we gotta plug all the numbers. So there's 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We gotta plug them into this equation. And then the the quantity of which number there is, basically you put that in front, and then you just do the math. So once we plugged all that in, we got, as you can see, we got this, and then once we added it all together and got our numbers, did all the math, it came out to 133.68. Once we get 133.68, we got to plug it back into the equation. So remember, n, there's 30 is the number of terms, so 37 is on the bottom. So basically we just divided that and it came out at 3.6129. Then do the math. Square root of 3.6129. Standard deviation equals 1.901. Okay, so we're almost done with this problem. The last two things. So 5-number summary. So basically 5-number summary consumes of 5 things, but I mean it's pretty simple. So the first number is going to be the first number once you put in release the greatest, and that's a 1. And then on the end is going to be the last number, which is 10. In the middle is Q1, then the median, and then Q3. So Q1 is basically the median of the first half of the problems, which is 18 numbers. So yeah, first half of the numbers, my bad. Okay, and then Q3 is 8 because that's the second half of the numbers, and we found the median of that. So it goes 1, 6, which is Q1, 7, which is the median, 8, which is Q3, the median of the second half, and then 10, which is the last number. And then interquartile range is really, really easy. So it's basically Q3 minus Q1, which 8 minus 6 equals 2. And we finished the problem.
Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate a dot plot. So we took the data from the 37 girls I saw on Instagram, the ratings. And so basically, this is a dot plot. So 1 through 10, and then 1 through 10. So that was the spread, and then these are the ratings. So basically there was 1, 1, no 2s, no 3s, there's 3 4s, there's 4 5s, there's 7 6s, there are 9 7s, and so on and so forth. And so you just mark your dots for how many 1s to 10s there were, and that's how you get a dot plot for the girls' ratings.
Okay, so with the same exact data, we're going to make a box plot now. So basically with a box plot, draw a scale like this. So from 1 to 10. So basically you make a mark right here and right here, the minimum and the maximum. So you do that. And after Q1, which was 6, make another mark right there. And then Q3, which was 8, make another line right there. Then you make another line where the median is, which was 7. Once you have that, you just connect it like a box. We did there, actually rectangle, same thing. And that's your box plot. Okay, so lastly, we're gonna make a histogram with this frequency table. So basically, this is like, you gotta have this first. So you gotta have A girl's rating is 0 and less than 2. You gotta have 2 less than 4, 4 less than 6, 6 less than 8, 8 less than 10, and then a perfect 10. So basically, since the spread is 1 through 10, that's what you gotta have listed in this column. Then, so 0 and less than 2, there was 1, 2 and less than 4, there was 0, then 4 and less than 6, there was 7, and so on and so forth. So once you have that, since there's 37 girls, what you would do is you would do 1 divided by 37, and that comes out to 0.027. So just for this one, it would be 0 divided by 37, which gets you 0. Then so on and so forth, 7 divided by 37, and 16 divided by 37 gets this, and you get the gist of that. So once you have the once you have the data, basically you're onto the hundredths place. And then for the histogram, you so on the y-axis you're gonna have the relative frequency, and on the x-axis you're gonna have just the the girls' ratings. So basically, so 0 and 2, there's 1. So, the relative frequency comes out to 0.027, which is there. And then 4 to 6, relative frequency came out to 0.19, which is labeled right there. And then 6 through 8, frequency came out to 0.43. Then 8 less than 10 relative frequency came out to 0.27. And then lastly, relative frequency of a perfect 10, 0.081. So basically that's how you make a histogram. Hope it was helpful, and that's it. Okay, so lastly, we're gonna make a histogram with this frequency table. So basically, this is like, you gotta have this first. So you gotta have a girl's rating is 0 and less than 2. You gotta have 2 less than 4, 4 less than 6, 6 less than 8, 8 less than 10, and then a perfect 10. So basically, since the spread is 1 through 10, that's what you gotta have listed in this column. Then, so 0 and less than 2, there was 1, 2 and less than 4, there was 0, then 4 and less than 6, there was 7, and so on and so forth. So once you have that, since there's 37 girls, what you would do is you would do 1 divided by 37, and that comes out to 0.027. So just for this one, it would be 0 divided by 37, which gets you 0. Then so on and so forth, 7 divided by 37, and 16 divided by 37 gets this, and you get the gist of that. So once you have the once you have the data, basically you're onto the hundredths place. And then for the histogram, you so on the y-axis you're gonna have the relative frequency, and on the x-axis you're gonna have just the the girls' ratings. So basically, so 0 and 2, there's 1. So the relative frequency comes out to 0.027, which is there. And then 4 to 6, relative frequency came out to 0.19, which is labeled right there. And then 6 through 8, frequency came out to 0.43. Then 8 less than 10, relative frequency came out to 0.27. And then lastly, relative frequency of a perfect 10, 0.081. So basically that's how you make a histogram. Hope it was helpful, and that's it.
Okay, so for normal distribution, 68% of observations should fall within 1 standard deviation. So it's going to be within here. 95% of observations should fall within 2 standard deviations. So it's going to be 2 to the left or 2 to the right. And 99.7 should fall within 3 standard deviations. So it's going to be either 1, 2, or 3 to the left, or 1, 2, 3 to the right. This is going to show the standard deviation of the average amount of tickets sold. And for this problem, we're going to have a standard deviation, and we're going to add 20 to either the right or the left. So for this, it's going to be less probable to get a standard deviation of 3 rather than 1. And the percentages on the graph help us predict the probability for each standard deviation to happen. And for this, you'll either get more tickets than the mean or less tickets than the mean.
Alright, so our life lesson.
I'll go first. So basically, this year in high school, I met my goals and I didn't. Like, I feel like I could have put more focus into school. Although, I really felt that some subjects I was really into and some I wasn't. But I did meet my goals. I found what I want to do, like in what kind of school I want to go to and stuff like that, and what I want to do for as far as my career goes. But yeah, I'll just say that.
Alright. And for me, yeah, it would probably be almost the same. Like, I met my goals and I also didn't. And I would say that, like, I could have put more effort and, like, focused a lot more. And I wish I, like, tried more harder in your class, even though, yeah, it's pretty easy and it's cool. And what I learned was that, like, you really have to, like, try hard in everything, like, no matter what.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I had fun though.
yeah.
It was fun in certain ways.